Every artist wants to market their music, but a lot of you all seem to never set a budget. And that's usually because you just want to put your music out or you just don't have the money. The problem is this thing ends up being a pull at the slot machine for you, because every time you want to run a marketing play, you want to drop some cash in and pull it and see what you get. And even though that's cool to do for the first few rounds, you may find out that things begin to fall like dominoes the more and more you proceed with your marketing campaigns, because you never really end up getting the results that you want to see. So you're going to need to learn how to set that budget. And if you want to learn how to set that marketing budget for yourself so you can succeed with your marketing campaign, tune into the Music Money Makeover show. First things first is we got to talk about what a marketing campaign actually is before we set that budget. So check it out. What is a marketing campaign? A marketing campaign is a marketplace course of action to achieve a desired result of conversion from the targeted audience to do an action of commerce or consumption. The course of action or campaign is carried out over time, while the product is adapted for consumption in the market or marketplace. The reason why I like using the word marketplace is because market is a bit confusing. I want to market my music. I want to start some marketing. No. We're specifically talking about the process of getting a product into a marketplace, i.e. Facebook. So the market would be social media. The marketplace would be IG, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, right? All of these places are marketplaces within the general market. You follow me? We have a market, we have a marketplace. And then for our campaign is a course of action over time by putting the product into the marketplace and seeing how it does over the course of time. Right there, boom. Campaign, the market, and then, well, the market and the marketplace, and then the campaign. You see what I'm saying? That's how a market campaign works. It's a course of action over time. Now let's dig into actually setting the budget now that you understand. We got some definition here. Check it out. We want to develop a tailor-fitting project budget, and I'm going to explain what I mean. How much money are we going to spend in the selected marketplace, i.e. Instagram, to make our music look, sound, and feel appealing in the selected marketplace? So here are the questions. What type of iterations of the original product will we need? How many iterations of the original product will we need? And how much will each type of iteration of the original product cost multiplied by the quantity? So the type is we need standard pictures and posts. We need carousels. We need reels, and those reels can double as the stories, right? We need micro music videos. We need acoustic videos. We need interviews. We need all of these. So that's the type, right? And the content basis. Then the question is, how many of it, how much do we need to take care of our course of action, our timeline right here? And then how many pieces? We got a timeline. We need to know how many pieces we need, and we need to know the type. And then we need to know the cost of all of those pieces across the timeline. And then boom, we now have a budget set that we can afford. So let's keep going. What's the limit? Setting a limit prevents you from going broke. So when you set this limit, do not let it exceed the money you have available to spend or credit available that will cost you an arm and a leg in interest and payments. However, if you ask all three questions that we just asked before and find that you may run over budget, scale it back, or wait to pony up the money if it's necessary. You always want to set a limit. So when you go in, you want to set your limit before you enter. That way, when you find out what your cost is to actually produce the content or the iterations of the product in the market, then we can say, this is the money we got right here. We can't go over this. Now let's plan for it in our course of action or our campaign. You see what I'm saying? And then if we exceed it, let's say you exceed that budget by 20% when you're in your planning phase, you can then go find the money, or you can prep to find that money or find it during the course of the campaign. You see what I'm saying? But you want to set it before you even start developing how many pieces you need, because that way you won't go over. All right. You got this limit in place. Chances are you'll probably have a way more productive campaign, because you won't just be betting. You'll know that we're going to get these and we're expecting these results. Many of you all go to the slot machine, put the money in that you made for the month or every 14 days or a fortnight or every week. You take a little bit of your check and then you put it into the marketing slot machine. And then you're like, hey, what am I going to get? But we didn't do any planning. We didn't do any hefty planning, and budgeting is one of those things that will help us ante up the quality and type and how much content we'll actually put into the marketplace. You see what I'm saying? So let's keep going. Now your question is, what if we don't reach our goal? If you do not achieve your desired results by using the money, resources, or time allotments for the marketplace course of action, then you must regroup and take a look at why the market did not accept your product. An analysis of every single step must be taken before continuing. Pause. So if your goal was, hey, look, we're doing this particular campaign for awareness, which I don't like awareness campaigns. I like attention campaigns, but whatever. That's something for another day. I'll talk about that probably later this month. But let's say you're going for awareness and we're going to judge it by the amount of views to comment ratio that we get, right? And we want to get this view to comment ratio right here. Or you just say, hey, we want to make sure that our comments are at least 10% of the views, right? So if our views are like 100, then we want to see at least 10 comments. Or if our views are 1,000, then we want to see at least, which is not really possible here, we want to see 100 comments. That's going to be a highly engaging video. So maybe you might say, well, if our comments can exceed 1% of the views, then we know that people are aware and they're beginning to engage, and we want to increase that comment ratio to view ratio, right? So that may be your key position or your key indicator right there that you're going to use for your outcome. If you don't reach that goal right there, then we got to go look at the content pieces that worked and the ones that didn't work. So let's say you're watching this video and you say, Casey, like, I'm watching this video, but subconsciously you don't know that you rather like a white shirt more so than this brown shirt. And so you don't know, but you as the musician have to look at that video and say, man, they like this one over that one. What was it that I said? Was it my tone? Was it my voice? Was it what I was wearing? Was it the lighting? Was it the backdrop? Was it that it was missing captions? Did this one do better than this one because it had captions and this one didn't, which is probably the case on some videos? What happened? And we want to take a look at all of that, analyze all of that, and then come back to the drawing board, put some more money in, and do it again. Now, what can be done for free? Scheduling can be done using built-in schedulers of Meta Business Suite and YouTube. Videos can be done for free if your video team believes in your vision, and music can be done for free as long as your creative team believes in your visions and them growing with you. So when it comes to our standard marketing procedure, which many will default to social media, the first things we want to look at is our resources for scheduling. Many will pay for a software for that, but if you want to get that done for free, you can always use the Meta Business Suite and YouTube itself. And then if you're on TikTok, you can use TikTok.com. That's if you're doing like all your editing on CapCut or something like that, and then you're going to import it into TikTok. Use the web portal version versus the phone so you can have an actual scheduler to schedule content. That way, that cuts down your cost on software. The next thing is, your video guys, if you tell them, hey, I want to shoot this much content, you may be able to reduce their prices because you put a limit on the services that you want to get from them. Or they may say, hey, look, I'm along for the ride. I'll donate my services if so long as this is all that you want to do, and anything else, we'll add some money on top of it. But it's the simple fact that you came with a plan and a strategy so that they know what they're doing, so that they're not super overwhelmed with work, that they could possibly do it for free. And then on the flip side, which I'm a fan of this, is that your creative staff, like your producers and stuff that really work with you, unless you're leasing beats, but if you're not leasing beats, your creative staff, your engineers and your producers, if they can get the work done for a fraction of the cost, or the producers can get it done for free for a hefty back end, I would do that deal all day. That way that can keep our production costs way down so that we can get it close to free, or if not free itself. So then you may ask, how long should a promo run last? A promotional run should last no more than 90 days initially leading up to the release and 5 weeks after the release. Okay, this is all depending on how quickly you want to release and how engaged your fan base is. So J. Cole, he announced the fall off like almost 2 years ago. I think it was maybe 2 years ago. And so he was way out. So he gave a list of albums that he was going to release, in the order he was going to release those albums. So it built up a lot of anticipation, and it would cause a lot of chatter amongst the internet for a while. You know what I mean? So as one project dropped, more chatter increased about, oh, what's coming next? He said this was coming next back then. So it all depends on your fan base and their engagement to you. But really no longer than 90 days should you start the real campaign for the push for the product release that you're going to do. Whether it be, and mainly the 90 days is for the album, but you can do it for a single as well. It can be done. It really can. You're just going to have to be crafty and take some planning. But if you implement the timeline and the strategy and the questions that I asked, then when you run your marketplace course of action all together, you're going to get amazing results. And amazing results leads to amazing cash flow, which I want to see you win. And with that cash flow, you're going to need a foundation to support all of that cash flow, which is a business, a record label or publishing company that should be put together rather quickly. So if you want to do that in about 60 days or less with a foolproof step-by-step process, jump into my 60-day record label course beneath this video right now today. You'll gain the ability to get funding for that so you can help fund this marketing process. And on top of that, you'll be able to prevent yourself from getting screwed contractually and cut the middleman out of your record and publishing international and domestic royalties for that matter. But if you're skeptical about this process, you can grab my free guide beneath this video, 10 major steps to increase your record label's profits. A free split sheet is included with that download. And on top of that, you can get a mini course that further explains the 60-day record label course. All right, but let's talk about the upside in this, because check it out. This is what happens if you do put the budget in place. If you set a budget, you will increase your discipline levels towards your career. You more than likely will achieve your results, and you'll understand how to make the next marketing campaign even more successful. That's the point. Even though this was about budgeting, you notice that in this video, I mentioned analysis. And when I mention that analysis will help us go back and make a better budget for the next time. You see what I'm saying? And so if we have a better budget for the second go around, then we can utilize the resources we have or pony up more resources because we know what we missed and what we should have had. And then if we can afford those based on the money that we have, we can now put all of that in. But that's only if we set a budget and do some planning before we release the stuff. If we don't set the budget and we go to the slot machine and we pull that lever and we just keep hitting it every week, we won't be able to analyze what was going on. All right. But if you don't set that budget, check it out. Your campaign will more than likely fall apart due to poor planning, misuse of resources for product iteration, and much more. You will lose the results that are necessary to analyze what went right and wrong due to the organization or disorganization of everything. So my thing is, if you were struggling to craft a budget, you now have at least a 3-step plan to make, this is my 3-step. This is a 3-step plan to make that budget happen. I don't care if you're running ads, if you're doing organic marketing, you now got a 3-step plan to move yourself from a super indie artist unknown to a person who is now maybe people are aware in your geographic area of you, right? So you can now further build on that and succeed with your music career, or at least get it pushing down the road. So music money makers, if you make music, you should always make money. Log on to musicmoneymakeover.com. Jump into the 60-day record label course beneath this video, download the free stuff beneath this video, book a call on musicmoneymakeover.com, smash the like button, and I'll see you next time. Peace.